Hello, so it's cherry blossom season here in Okinawa, and all over Japan cherry blossom season is a big deal. In Okinawa we get it in January, February, and in mainland Japan they get it in April. Due to this being tropical, spring comes earlier. Now it's a very popular time for Japanese families to come out, especially at the weekend, just to look at the Sakura. In Japan there's much more of a big deal. They actually have picnics underneath the Sakura and they drink. But in Okinawa, we don't get as full a bloom as they get in Japan, and our colours are sometimes different. So Okinawa, trees are much more sparse than they are in the mainland. The mainland, they're very spectacular, many trees, just a whole blanket of pink, whereas in Okinawa it's a lot more, few trees here and there, but still it's emotive and families like it, and people come out and take pictures with their phones every year. The birds also like the Sakura, and Mejido, the Japanese white-eye, these cute little green birds that are often feeding on the Sakura, and they are so fast. And every year I try and take a few pictures of the Mejido flicking amongst feeding on the Sakura. But as I said, they're so quick, and you really need to be on it to try and get sharp pictures, because they're onto one flower and then within a split second they're onto the next, and they're tiny. But that's what I'm going to try and do today, see if I can get a few shots of the Mejido, the Japanese white-eye birds, jumping in these trees. To get nice shots of these birds, you really need a high shutter speed. So I'm using the OM1 with the 300 f4. So I really want to be at minimum 2000th of the shutter speed, f4, and I'm usually on ISO auto. But you can get nice shots lower than that, but you're hedging your bets. So it's best to get high shutter speed. With these trees, often there's way more branches than there are flowers, and I don't like a cluttered background. So what I personally do is I try and find the branches that have a nice background. So these branches here, if I position myself, I can get the light green in the background. That's what I want. So I will often wait here, and I will just be focused on that branch. And the birds will be flipping all around me, but I'm missing the shots because I'm waiting for the bird to arrive purely on this area here, and I'll wait and wait and wait, and I'll miss a lot of shots, but I know that if I get that shot with the nice background, it's going to be way nicer than just a bird amongst all this stuff where all these different branches to me are too distracting. It can work if you've got a really full bloom and loads of flowers. You can get the bird in the middle and it'll be all surrounded by pink, and that it's nice. But I personally like to have an uncluttered background, so I'm picking, there's another one here. This branch here is good, and I can use the hill in the background there, and you know, I've got to position myself in the right spot, and I've got to sort of bend down a little bit, but then I can get it, and this green in the background makes the nice isolated background. So that's what I'm trying to do. So the tree's only in bloom really for 2 or 3 weeks, so it's this time of year every year. You've got to get your shots or you won't have another chance for another year. So I usually come out after I finish work, before I pick my kids up, and the light's nice for about an hour, and I try and get the shots. But as I said, I don't want just any old shot of any bird in the tree. It's got to be the right shot. So I usually first decide which flowers I want them to land on. I then organize what shutter speed and aperture I want, and then I just wait, and hopefully a bird will come. But it can be frustrating because you'll have birds all around you and not landing on the tree that you want. There's also some hummingbird moths here, which are these large moths that are super fast, and there's also some butterflies, so I'm also looking to get shots of those. Sometimes the very sparse flowers are a little bit pitiful, but when you don't have many flowers, you can try and find a small isolated section of flowers. Again, position yourself so you've got that nice background, and that might make a nice picture if a bird lands or a butterfly lands on it. So it's super quiet today, very few birds around, so luckily there's no people around, so that's good. So I can really sort of concentrate and choose the area I want to take pictures, but very few birds are around, unfortunately. They're probably just past their prime peak, full bloom, so that was probably a couple of weeks ago. So there's probably going to start withering now, and then in 2 or 3 weeks they'll be gone. But they're a kind of iconic picture in Japan, and every spring there's all the bird websites and photo sharing sites come alive with pictures of Japanese white eyes and the Sakura. So I don't always chase that kind of iconic shot, but it is. If you look at birds in Japan, that's one of the iconic shots. So I'll just hang around for another half an hour, see if I can get anything. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Didn't get much today, but I'll be back. And it might seem intimidating trying to photograph tiny birds in thick brush and busy trees, but definitely give it a go. And you don't need such a long lens, because in these birds are so preoccupied with eating this stuff, you can approach, if you're a bit careful, you can approach quite close. So even maybe a 200mm would be enough, or even 100mm might be enough to get an okay shot. So if you're out there, if you're some cute little birds near you in trees, don't be intimidated. Grab what you have, see if you can get close, and see if you can get some shots. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Take care. See you on the next one.